It's a Saturday afternoon, and I'm driving in West Bountiful. I cruise down the street and into the parking lot of Costco. As I look out my driver's side window, I realize my great and terrible folly. For there in that parking lot were cars. Lots of cars. So many cars that I could not tell if I was looking at a parking lot or an ocean. I was shaking my head as I pulled through the lot, thinking that I was so foolish for waiting until the day of my friend's birthday party to get her present. And that now I only had 30 minutes until the party started in Lehigh. It was as I was coming to the conclusion that I was going to show up to the party half an hour late and slowly be murdered by my dear friend Christy when I saw it. My hopes and dreams had come true, for there in front of me was a gap in the sea of cars. A parking spot right near the front entrance. I quickly traveled the remaining distance to that glorious area of pavement and pulled in. But then it happened. Just as I was about to pull all the way in, I was forced to slam on my brakes. For there in front of me, in the center of the parking spot, was a shopping cart. A basket on wheels which restricted me from reaching my glorious parking space. I rested my head on the steering wheel and muttered under my breath something about a cruel, cruel world. Then it hit me. The greatest idea that anyone on earth has ever thought of, and I was the one who thought of it, and here it is. What if I got out of my car and moved the shopping cart? I know, wow, it's unheard of. And so I was the person who thought of it. And so I continued to think about it as I shifted my car into reverse and drove around that parking lot for another 15 minutes looking for a parking space. In this nation, life's easy path has become the new red carpet. Through both physical and intellectual idleness, we have forgotten the true joys of hard work and dedication. I'm sure that you've all heard the story of Tom Sawyer, the tale of a young boy who in all reality represents the stereotypical young boy from the 1840s. As we follow Tom through his many adventures, we hear of the games he plays with the other boys, the determination he shows as he attempts to con his friends into doing his chores for him, and the bravery he portrays as he escapes from being lost in a maze-like cavern. GAF, an administration which provides research on obesity in America, found that 78% of Americans do not meet the daily requirements for physical activity. Instead, many people are watching television and or playing with smartphones. Let's see how this study portrays itself upon today's stereotypical youth. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of this particular stereotype, I imagine one thing: Fortnite. While it is said that there are many benefits to video game playing, I would like to put those all aside and focus on this image. I would like you to close your eyes. Go ahead, do it. And I want you to imagine a 12-year-old boy playing Fortnite. The game playing across the widescreen TV, a pair of headphones on his head, a controller in his hand, as he sits on the couch and plays his game. Now I want you to take the screen away. Just remove it from the wall and leave only the boy. A boy who has been sitting in that spot for the past 2.5 hours staring at that screen and moving nothing but his fingers. A boy who has friends, but rarely talks about anything other than video games with them. A boy who plays games, but only when they are sitting on the wall. A boy who goes on adventures, but only through the eyes of an animated character. Now I want you to give this boy a name. His name is Tom Sawyer. Isn't that a sad tale? But I hope you can see how true it would be if that boy from that story that we've loved since our childhood, a story that has impacted thousands of readers, was alive today. Wouldn't this be his story? Although I suppose it wouldn't be, because there wouldn't be much of a story to tell, leaving Tom's book non-existent. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, there are many health side effects from inactivity, including obesity, heart rate, type 2 diabetes, and stroke, to name a few, all of which are within the top 6 causes of death, according to the CDC. Heart disease being the very top, meaning that those who choose to refrain from physical activity on a daily basis are literally choosing to shorten their life expectancy. But not only can laziness have a huge impact on your life, it can also have a very large impact on the future of our nation. According to Pew Research, over 1/3 of Americans get their news from social media, meaning that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, online web pages where people post weird cat videos, government conspiracy theories, and images of last night's dinner, have become major presidential election influencers. There was a time when I believed that Wikipedia would be the worst source that you could cite on a research paper. But now we have achieved a new low, where a citable source can be, "Oh yeah, some guy said it on Reddit. It seemed legit." Today, the average American has an issue. That being that due to a desire to remain dormant, there is the ever-present urge to believe at face value despite the knowledge of a present bias. In today's society, many go to their preferred news source because it agrees with their particular political standpoint, and they will accept whatever it says as fact, instead of conducting thorough and accurate research. This is evidenced through the phrase, "Your name is mud," a popular phrase which means that the population believes you or your opinion to be no better than mud. But where this originates from was Dr. Samuel Mudd. Dr. Samuel Mudd was a 19th century American doctor from a small town in Maryland. After being accused of conspiring with Booth during the assassination of President Lincoln, many people looked down upon him. Even after the accusation was proven wrong, this disapproving attitude consisted for Mudd, and the phrase is still mentioned today. A classic case of making a decision before a proper inquiry has been completed. In his famous Canons of Conduct, Thomas Jefferson wrote, quote, "Never trouble another for what you can do yourself," end quote. Don't make someone else clean up after you. Don't require a simple task of someone when you could just as easily do it yourself. Don't take the easy street. Choose the challenging path. Together, we can do hard things and better the world around us. Join me as we move the shopping cart together. Thank you.